Hey y'all, happy Wednesday. What's up, man? How y'all feeling? Hey, yo, Tierra had to be the first. Yo, always on somebody, yo. It's 6 o'clock. I hit the thing right at 6 o'clock, yo. I'm right here. Naeem, I ain't never late, yo. Don't do me. What's up, y'all? How y'all feeling, y'all? I miss y'all a little bit. What's been going on, y'all? How y'all doing? Tierra. Hey, Kay. Hey, Alda. What's going on, y'all? Hey, Kaya. Hey, Jaheem. What's up? Hey, Charles. Hey, Trackstar. What's up? Hey, Kayla. Yo, that's what's up. So happy to see y'all. Y'all, I miss y'all a little bit. I hope y'all been being productive this week. Don't let me find out y'all ain't been being productive. Hey, Miss England.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing today?
What's up? We doing good. Now I ain't talking about we need more people on here. We only got 8 people. Hey, listen, Naeem, quality over quantity.
You will
You sitting
learn
over
that.
here searching for numbers. We just trying to touch one life. We just want
That's
one
it.
person to be
That's
blessed.
it.
We
That's
good.
it.
Close us off at the door. Hey,
Yeah,
King Core.
yeah, that's it. I'm glad you said that. Because listen, that's something you'll learn when you get in business. I've rather had a great experience with just a small group of people than have a terrible experience where I got nothing with a whole lot of people.
Oh,
So
or better yet, let me sell one product for $100 than
mhm,
trying to sell 50 products
for
for
two
how
dollars.
much is that?
Right.
$2.
Exactly. So we're gonna have a lesson on quantity over quality because I think when you in business and as you get older, your brand is always going to be quality. I was really excited just now. I was on the phone with somebody and they were so excited about how the lady at McDonald's greeted them. They was like, "Yo, if I ever get some money, I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna get this lady something." Now they was at McDonald's. This, but they live out Howard County. But they was like,
Okay, because I'm
"Yeah,
like, not no McDonald's in Baltimore City,
yeah,
baby.
and she live in Howard County, but she was like, "Yo," she was on the phone when we made our order, right? And afterwards, she was like, "I gotta get this lady something. Every time I come, it's amazing." And I was like, "That's the experience everybody should have everywhere they go. Everywhere you go, it's an experience. When you come and get on sessions, that's an experience. When you walking into a store, that's an experience. You supposed to get great customer service. So that's something we're gonna talk about moving forward as experience. So
Love it.
today, y'all, you ask and I shall deliver. That's one thing that I try to do and being in this work. You have requested that we talk about young people who live with a parent or has a parent with mental illness. So today, that's our topic. How do you struggle with a parent with mental illness? Again, I always said that that was not my experience. I can't talk about what other people experience. I could read about it, I could research it and come back with strategies. But this time I was actually have one of my friends who dealt with that. And I asked them, can they come on and talk about their experience and bring strategies about how is that as a young person and now you're growing up, you grown and you have your own brand and your own thing and you're working, how did that affect your life? So I'm going to ask her questions and we're going to have a real dialogue. I always say Winter Wednesdays is not about who's looking, what's going on. It's always about your soul. So if you can, please, I always say have a little book, a little book somewhere for Winter Wednesday and just invest in yourself. Like when you hear something that hits your spirit, write it down. When you feel like that's something that we need to come back to, bring it to the attention in the chat. Miss Anna, remember when you said this? We need to go back to that because this whole Wednesdays is about the soul and how do we show up in our best life in spite of what's around us, right? And so today, and I feel bad because I told her to come at 6:15 and she real pumped. I'm about to tell her to come at 6:10. She gonna kill me, but she be all right. Um, but I really want us to be engaged because honestly, I thank Taylor and I'm really honored that she was asked this because I realized when I got off with y'all last week was that that is something that a lot of young people deal with and nobody never addressed that. And I want to find ways to support y'all. So I wanted to bring it to you guys. So I'm going to let her know she can log in. Joni gonna know who it is, so it's gonna be funny.
It's somebody that I know for real.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to see who this is. How y'all been though, y'all? I hope y'all been being productive.
Yeah, I hope so too. Like, and what's let's think about as we move forward. What next week gonna look like? What do y'all want to know next week as well? And no, Joni ain't gonna be here. So Joni, is I'm doing it on your vacation?
Oh yeah, Miss Mo will be on here.
Oh, okay, but she was on it
vacation.
today. I just want you to know she was on it. It was I texted her and was like, "What's the link?" I thought she was
And
out.
you know what? That's my fault because what I told her was that what's on the calendar, I gotta update that. I gotta correct that.
Okay, because
So
it was
so
me.
it would have been straight, but that was completely on me because it's on the calendar incorrectly.
I mean, she's trying. I'm playing a little.
Naeem said it wasn't easy for me to observe my mother going through mental illness and all, but my mother still kept pushing along the way. Yeah.
Oh, that's good that she was kept pushing and didn't give up. And thank you for sharing that because I think that's a big thing too, Naeem, of seeing that, right? Because I see how, as strong as my kids may be, I see how when I go through my own stuff and how I may express myself and crying and my emotions and my mental health, and to see the expressions on my children's face, it's just like for me as a parent was just like, wow, I just put all my burdens on my children, and I ain't even talking about financially. It's just like, wow, now they're gonna be thinking like mommy's stressed, mommy going through a lot, so then it brings it on them. So I'm going to make sure she got y'all. So put the
Yeah, make sure she good. And Naeem, that's a great point. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yes, a great point.
And another thing, y'all, that I hope that we kind of scratch the surface on with this important topic is, dealing with parents who may have mental illness, but it is undiagnosed or it is unacknowledged. Because last night I was on the phone at like midnight talking to somebody because their mom was just basically disrespecting them, like calling them all types of bees and just being completely out of pocket. And to me, when you have a child, regardless of that child's imperfection, like it's still your job to love that kid and to love that person, imperfections is and all, and help them to get better, and don't just make them feel even worse for some stuff that they already feel bad about. And we were on the phone for at least like a good like almost 2 hours just talking, because I'm just like, yo,
but
I
what if
don't
they
get
didn't have a Joni though? You see what I'm saying? It's just like, and that's another thing too. I always encourage people to try to find a trusting adult that you could talk to during these times that, some people you don't want to talk to because then they want to bring other people in the house, like protective services and all that other stuff. Find somebody you can really trust and be yourself and just lay things out, and they can give you real life experience out to, deal with the situation or get out. Don't try to do it on your own. It was a blessing that person had Joni, but just think about Joni if that person didn't have you last night. You know what I mean? You could have been waking up with a different phone call, right? So as we want y'all to be great, but we have to be great for you guys. So we got to make sure our mental health is great as well. She says she's trying to come on, Joni. So let's see what's going on.
All right, that's what's up. And you gave her the updated link?
I gave her the link you gave me. That's the updated link?
Yeah, that's perfect.
All right, that's what
perfect. Yeah. Naeem said a lot of people don't speak on sickle cell. Naeem, thank you so much for that, because that's part of the reason why I donate blood regularly, because I got that special blood type. Yeah, and I got that COVID-19 antibody. But sickle cell patients can receive my blood and babies can receive my blood. I got O positive. Yeah. So that's part of the reason. Yeah, so they be beating my phone down. So that's why I'm at the donor thing like regularly, because even though I don't suffer with sickle cell, I know people that do, and I've seen the impact of it.
Wow.
Oh, Tierra said she got AB plus. Oh yeah, you a little special too.
Yeah.
Trying
Wow.
to tell you, those
You gotta
those
know our blood type, it looks like, huh? We might gotta talk about that. 'Cause I'm sitting here like, do I know my kids? Let me get that together. Look who
what's
that
up,
is,
good?
John.
Hey, yo, chill. Hey, Miss B, what's up?
Hey man, what's up? I
Yo, Miss
missed
England
you.
was all like, you gonna know who coming on? I'm like, I ain't gonna know who this is.
Surprise!
Wow, good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to see you. I mean that.
Yeah, so let me give an introduction to my heartbeat. This is my other little sister. Her name is Benair. Worked with her over the years, youth development work for years. She has her own brand. She's doing podcasting right now. One of the things I'm really proud of her is about she understands her gift and she's bringing it to the world and she's here to support us. So Benair, as you know, I asked you to come in just to talk about. And Johnny, can you watch the comments for us? Because I don't have my other phone and De'Ara's not here.
Yeah, I got you.
Thank you. And Johnny, you know how we do. Jump in. So Benita, the ex last week we were talking last week just about relationships with young people and their family during COVID. And me and De'Ara was just talking about how it was just, we was battling because I'm scared about going outside and whatever, and she has her own thing. So we was talking about that and we gave some strategies. And during that presentation, one of the heartbeats brought up a great point about, how do we deal with living with someone who has mental illness? Mm-hmm. And I am a person and my heartbeat knows this. I share my experiences, but if I don't know, I'm a research. And as they see, I'll bring somebody on who's experienced it because I always want them to relate. I don't want to talk to them about what I've done if I have never done it. So I'd rather have an expert about that. And I ain't talking about through a book or degree. I'm talking about life experiences, right? And can you just talk about like from growing up what that was for you, especially in your teenage years, or growing up with a parent? You can tell your story and start off how you like.
Okay, so okay, hope y'all ready. Okay, so first and foremost, thank you both for having me on. It's something about even if you know your gift, because that felt good to hear. It's like, oh, I guess I do have an idea, right? But child, it takes a lot to get there, but it is possible because of a lot of things that I've been through, and a lot of my hurt and past trauma is truly based from, I guess the way I've put it is like betrayal from family. A lot of us, and it's funny because not funny, but just to speak today that I've recently experienced betrayal of friends and I haven't dealt with that in a while. And so what happened is that, and I'm starting backwards, right? And so what actually happened, and I was very well aware. And so again, that takes work to get to the place of being able to be aware of self and very aware of moods and I guess triggers, right? Because sometimes triggers are not necessarily external. Triggers are not necessarily something that someone else said. It could really be your own thoughts. And I'm saying this part right now for a reason is that, so it tried to, I'll be honest, the enemy really tried to use he tried to refresh things from a dark place of loneliness. That was my issue. And that was solely based and came from dealing with my mother. And as years came on that I actually realized it was both my mother and my father of dealing with something. And to be honest, dealing with a parent with mental health issues does not necessarily mean that they are aware. It really could just be that you observe it and that you experience it. And it's how you deal with that, because it's not necessarily, yes, we want to say, get them help and all. It's not that easy. I'll be honest, I am 30 years old. I'm 30 years old. And even though I say I'm going on a 10 to age of 87. My mother has yet to ever, as far as I know, I don't think she's ever been to any therapy, counseling, anything, sought after any professional help. And it really, I don't know where, honestly, I can't say where I think it comes from or where it comes from. I can just say where I think and what I think. And so sometimes when you have a loved one, someone close that's dealing with anything, you kind of already come up with your own mind of what that is, right? So we kind of diagnose, even though we all kind of suffer at some point or another self-diagnosis of, oh Lord, I didn't Google something, I only got 3 days. Oh Lord, right? But I'll be honest, I believe and I've done research and all, and it's still, I'm not a professional, but from my experience, I believe that my she's probably schizo. I think my mother is very, and
Before you go on, can you explain to them what that is?
Right. And so my mother is very, I'll use the word good, but not necessarily, but good at telling stories, right? And so that can sound innocent. So schizophrenia is more so of, that more so of like personality, multiple personality disorder, like a mixture of that. And again, I'm not a professional, but I'm telling you just from what I've taken in, right? And so and I'm speaking just to her experience, not for everyone else's. So for her, I believe that it's something of that nature because there's something that tells her that she is dissociated from reality, and that it is her reality. Whatever this reality is that she is speaking on and believes, that is that. And so many times throughout my life have I said, like, I've been, punished and reprimanded for things that she made up. And I had to live through that. So what does that do to how you feel? I can tell you what it could possibly do, which it absolutely eats at you because you're trying to figure out what is it that, and I'm a very self-reflective person. I believe I've been that way all my life now that I think about it. And so I'm always trying to figure out what Benia has done to bring this on, what Benia can do to get her out of this, what Benia can do to help whoever else is, a part of whatever this is. So all my life, it's been, I never wanted to talk about, truthfully, this might be one of the first few times that I'm really talking about, especially in a public platform, right? Because I always felt the need to protect my mother. So I don't want to tell you what I'm dealing with and the hurt that I'm dealing with. And then this is me growing up, because I don't want you to judge my mother. Because to me, I know that you, from the outside, you can go ahead and base off of and say that she's a good person. True, my mother was a teacher. She was a kindergarten teacher for a while, so she worked in the school system. She's great with children. I always put the little parenthetic statement to say that she's great with other people's children. So her issues, didn't allow her to be the best mother she could be for her children. So the three of us that come from her, and I have other siblings, but the three of us that come from her, there is no one in this world that can understand what we've been through. I'll give an example so when we talk about me as a teenager in high school, and I'll probably go back actually, but in high school, I distinctly remember one particular incident where I woke up in the morning, my mother is sitting on the side of the bed with knives in her hand. And to her, she believed that I had tried to poison her. And so it was, and this was a school day. So this is me getting up, preparing to go to school. And it was a big debacle. It's crazy because I used to actually be able to remember almost every detail about it. I guess I haven't told this story in so long, but, and so I remember police were involved in all of that. And I was just able to be dismissed and just to go ahead about my way. Was there a report written? I'm not sure. I'm a teenager. I don't understand any of that, right? And all I know is that I make my way to school. With all of that on my mind, I was always the person, I'm very jokey. I'm very bubbly. I'm that person. So I thrived through that. I thrived to be that person. Plus I loved school, like education, all of that, even though in high school, it was a point in time, I think probably around that time. And after that is where maybe my academics probably went down some, but compared to how I used to be, right? Coming into high school, straight A student, all of that, so proud, yada, yada. But I truly don't even know how that happened because truthfully, if I'll go back where I really say like the darkest part of my childhood that I can recall, I can't recall a lot of like young childhood, but about like middle school, 12 years old for sure, that my mother, and this is what is 2002, Lord have mercy. So in 2002, right? I mean, we're still getting to the place, but absolutely back then, there were not that many people that understood gay, that understood anything like that. And my mother, because she made up things, so it was already that she was putting that on me as a 12-year-old. thing, and I mean, I will say this, but I have to tell my story, but I have nothing against gay whatsoever. But if it does not, if it is not you, it is not you, right? And so it hurts when it's your mother that has now started volunteering and working and substituting at your middle school. And she is telling teachers and other students that you are gay and that you are doing sexual acts with who is your only friend, who is your sister in middle school, right? I remember it coming back to me from a teacher, and I was like, what? I literally, y'all, I played with Barbie so long. So I wasn't even sexually active or even in the mind space to even consider, heterosexual sexual, acts, let alone homosexual acts. So it was like, what? So, I mean, that was the first time I know for sure that I attempted suicide, that I had very dark thoughts. And from then on, for years, I can't even remember when it stopped, but for years, that it turned into that, not necessarily that I didn't make many suicidal attempts, but I had a phase, I guess, of cutting. But more so what really stuck was that I would like literally just walk, and I'm a thinker, so I'm always in my thoughts anyway. So it could just be walking across the street and I'm hoping that a bus comes to hit me and take me out, just because I feel like that is the only way my mother is really going to be like my baby, right? And so, but yet even still, outside of all that, you would never know. I kept everything inside. I felt that I could not speak to anyone because no one has her as a mother, even with my brother. So I'm her only daughter. So that's another thing that throughout my entire life, especially as I got older, that I became, because of course with her issues, she wasn't able to really hold on to friends. I don't know my mother to really have friends. If she did, that didn't last long. According to her, Lord knows, I mean, you can kind of almost categorize her stories, rather, like she goes through phases of, all three of us apparently have tried to poison her. All three of us have tried to kill her. All three of us have we've turned our friends to try to get her to beat her up, like just things. And her number one thing is that just about every woman, every walking woman, I don't know, dead or alive at this point, but any woman is after my father. Right. And so it's a mix of a lot of things, because absolutely got the feeling of you will choose him over anybody at all times. But yet to me, you've turned me as your only daughter. You've made me your best friend. To my mother, I'm her best friend, but she was never a friend to me. She made herself my enemy. I dealt with feeling as though she was jealous of me, and I'm very modest. So that even saying it now is still a hard thing to say, because you're my mommy. And out of all that I've shared, I'm a mommy and a daddy's girl. I yearn for family. I yearn for connectivity. I yearn for unity because of the lack thereof. And so I know that I also, growing up, I always had a void of like grandmother, because to me, that was my scapegoat. So if I ever had a grandmother, but before I was even born, my maternal mother, so my mother's mother, had passed. So I never met her. So there was always that thing of like, if she was around, she would save me. But truth be told, as I got older, I realized that it had to come from somewhere. Can
you say why you said that it had to come from somewhere?
That it had to come from somewhere because unfortunately, and I'll say unfortunately, but unfortunately, just as we know physical ailments, physical illnesses, there are traits, and we get into genetics and things like that, that learning mental health issues and illnesses can also be, as far as I know, can be passed down. Mm-hmm. So I figured that has, and this is me before I even thought to look up something and thought to, we didn't have Google back then, baby. Or baby, that dial-up was nothing that you wanted to hop on and just look something up for no reason. Like it just, no, it still is in the back of my mind. So hated it. So I was not, right. And so reading up on it, and especially, I mean, we're just scratching the surface of beginning the conversations about mental health, anything, right? So of course, back then, it was not like there were conversations. It was not in the schools. It was not in your school textbooks. It was not something considered, as an issue that needed to be addressed. Yet we know that it's been a long running issue because we're talking of generational, issues, generational curses. And so for so many, things to take part in the trauma that I experienced, and all I could do, truthfully, I said this actually when I was finally graduating with my degree. Finally, y'all, it took me 8 years. So baby, don't you hold on to how many years it takes you, honey.
Oh, I don't want to talk about mine, so we're gonna leave that alone.
Listen, look, I'm so proud of myself that I said my number out, and that was because I had another speaking engagement earlier, and I said it to the. I was like, oh, did I just say that out loud? All right, I said
Let's not talk about mine either.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's all right then. And that, trust me, that's old. And
ain't nothing wrong with we on your platform. You see that?
I was just listen. You took it out my mouth. I was about to say it, baby. And look what. Don't get me started, y'all.
Oh yeah, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
You brought up the night. So I mentioned that, and so I was, of course, and it was they have like a parent night or something where like for all the graduates, and so you invite your parents just to thank them, and so it was a segment in the evening where they had like some of us like to speak. So I was just sitting there like, well, I just invited y'all just for the hell of it, really. Oh. I mean, now I can play the part, but ain't nothing here, right? And so I did actually get up, and I will always stick to what came over me to say, because I'm pretty careful with my words, but I'm also very transparent. Like, I don't know how that works hand in hand, and so I said, the number one thing that I can thank my parents for standing here is that I was introduced to Christ. I was introduced to God because my faith is what brought me through. Truthfully, as a 12-year-old, I remember thinking that, dang, I learned in church that, if you kill yourself, apparently you can't go to heaven. That's what I remember thinking as a 12-year-old. I said, all right, it didn't happen, the time I tried it before, don't want to try it again. Or if I tried it again, I can't even remember that. But I just remember thinking like, all right, I don't want to go out that way. So that's what it turned into. All right, a part of it, it's crazy to think about, but that in my mind, I was like, okay, so I got to let go of trying to do it myself. And then so just hoping and wishing that it would just happen. And then I had to work out of that, years down the road. But just that it was so much. And so in that little speech that I said, it was like, that was the best thing, because again, as a 12-year-old, I absolutely remember crying myself to sleep. I probably throughout the whole middle school, to be honest. But so for 3 years, crying myself to sleep every single night just by whispering Jesus, like Jesus. Boo-hooing just to get it out and just to get to sleep. And then, other things I'm sure have just been brought up. There are like crazier things that my mother has, said. And again, her issue was, and all I knew it to be back then was, you believe your own lies. You believe your own stories. You'll say these things that you make up, you're running to the family to say. You're running to who my adopted grandmother was, someone like that kind of like adopted her as a daughter. And that's like the only grandmother, even though I have a living grandmother, my father's mother, but the only grandmother I've ever known, right? And she has now passed. God rest her soul. Very, very sweet woman. And so it's like you're running and telling these things to this woman. And that's where my not fear, but my concern of what people think of me. So I know a lot of us in this day and age will say, don't concern yourself with what people think about you. That's not, you can't necessarily do that. Or you never know where people are coming from and why they concern themselves with what people think of them. I had to, because truth be told, my mother is very manipulative in her stories, because as she'll go and tell, person A about somebody about person C, that she knows A and C are not going to speak. So you're not crossing stories. And so nobody thinks to just bring it to the forefront to say, hey, to confront, to say, hey, wait a minute now, child, I was just with her on Tuesday. She couldn't have been doing that on Tuesday. Like, it's just a lot to think about. And so then not understanding the trauma that took place of, again, you as my mother making me your best friend, that you're telling me these crazy stories of my father, and who, mind you, there's this estranged relationship between the two of you. So at a point in time, he was not in my life for a good long time. And it was definitely during this middle school trauma, era. So that was a lot of hardship. And then to come in years later in my adulthood and to find out like, Lord, he's just as crazy as she is. Okay, so y'all are made for each other. Well, Lord, at least that tells me that it really is somebody out here for everybody. Lord, I thank you. I just, I'm just that person to flip it and see it in a positive light, because if nothing else, one thing I did get from her, and she didn't really know what she was telling me then, but always said, find the positive out of everything, because that is, I can't even describe to you that how helpful that those words have been and are to me, of persevering through so much that I've been through. And I mean, that like what I'm sharing now is like nothing compared, like a very small fraction to my actual experience, because of course we go through so much, and just once we get over them, it's just, okay, woo, past that, and so I do know that also God uses my memories. I always joke and say that I have a bad memory. But he uses that for my good, because if I have everything that I have been through in my life, I have every right, truthfully, to be the meanest, nastiest, most disgusting, malicious, vicious human being there is out here. I have every right, truthfully.
And right. And I'm glad you brought that out. I'm sorry to cut you off.
That's okay.
You said some words, and I want to say the words out loud, because I want my heartbeats, not my students. I want my babies to really feel what we're talking about. It hits home, and it was like words like loneliness, your experiences, triggers, reality, self-reflection, protection, in need of protection, being judged. Still being still, spite of what's going on around you. You were still being still. Suicidal, connection, unity, generational stuff. And I know my young heartbeats, we talk about some of this stuff, and I just want you to know how real it is. But I want to ask you, how did you change your mindset to be this awesome woman that you are today?
Oh, you cut it. I'm all right.
How did you change? Because I think my heartbeat sometimes think this is my everyday. I'm gonna be like this forever.
Got it.
Miss England, is it going to change? Is she ever going to love me? And I wanted them to know, it's a process. So can you talk about that?
I can. Very good question. And so first and foremost, I can't help it. And y'all see, as I've spoken, I can't help but bring up God. I can't help, to bring up my faith, my belief. Because as human beings, we have to believe in something, right? So why not believe in something good, right? Something that, pours back into you as you may pour out to others, or as somebody is wringing you out. So either way, you're emptying. And so even earlier in my prayer this morning, I made sure I reminded God, as if he needs a reminder, but I said, just know, I'm still an empty vessel, right? Like you can pour into me. Like I'm going through some stuff, but go on, keep doing what you're doing, right? And so I'll be honest that I was at a very young, all while I was younger, I was a really good kid. I think that's what also sucks. I was such a great kid, right? Such a good kid, took directional, you said not move, I'm not moving, right? And so I also was like that as I was learning about my faith, I'm scared to, I ain't gonna hurt God, right? And then so I had to go through my own stuff for him to find out if I would still be that way even after, now I'm not as clean and pretty and untouched and unwounded as I am. I was ugly, not if, in a sense of I've been beaten and bruised and things like that. And so when I started to come into my own belief, for myself, that because I actually think it's kind of funny that I just was hearing myself that I kept talking about experiences that happened around the age of 12. I also can't help but not to mention that I was baptized at the age of 12, right? I remember that distinctly. It was 12 and it was Easter Sunday. And so again, it was my belief in all I know was this got to be something good. I may not be able to see it, touch it, smell it, feel it, but I know it, and that's what I have to go with. And that allowed me to, at a young age, still to be able to understand that, you know what, it's not her. It's not her. And I guess now in retrospect, I'm thinking deeper into that everything is spiritual and all, but at that age, it was just it's not her. So I can't hold what I feel against her, but I can use it as a baseline for it. Definitely taught me what I don't want. So I'm now a mother of a 3-year-old, right? And way before, and I always dreamt of getting married and having children, all this. So I always knew. And so something I would always say is I'll never be my mother. And so while that is not a bad thing to say, we have to be careful of saying something like that, because still you can almost have that mindset of hatred or resentment toward whoever caused you harm and hurt and trauma or triggered your trauma. And it's not even against them. It is just for you to focus on what it is that you have to do. So I have to be a great mother. I'm not going to even worry about that. It comes from my mother and Alice and all that to everybody else. I actually used to say, truthfully, I remember saying that it would be easier if I had a mother that was like a crackhead. I would say that so much because I said it's easier for the outside, looking in, that's easier for me to explain. My mother, again, she was a minister in the church, like I said, a teacher, like just baby, pick up that chin, Joni. I know, right, baby? Listen, lived it, honey, lived it. I know. And so, but of course it was hard. If I wanted to open my mouth to say something, it's hard for people to get that. So it was like, okay, I can't even speak about my stuff. So I was forced to deal with the inside of me. And so how did I get to this place is because I worked so hard on the inside of me. Because it's as I'm a very selfless person and always refuse to be selfish. And that even stems from my mother, because it's like, Lord, the world just got to revolve around her. And it's like, you can't see that for me. So I got to be independent. So it is, in a sense, and I used to never want to admit this, but it's so true that all the trauma and all the things that I've experienced has absolutely made me who I am today. I've been independent on my own since I was 16 years old. I was homeless for a good while. Like good while. I remember my senior year of high school, my mother was just like, it's on you. I don't tell you. And she just didn't know any better. That's the thing. So I had to realize.
How did you get through that? Like
right. So it was just more so of of working on me to the point where, you know what, I'm going to strive to make sure I find my own place. I'm going to strive to, get work that, that I can actually do that. So amongst all of my friends, y'all can have, once we got to college and stuff, y'all can have the college and life experience. I can't. And that's just okay. I have to work for me. So it's about the hustle and bustle, but you have to understand where that comes from. And then you have to judge to see if is it a healthy place where it comes from. And if it's not, that's okay, because that's the past. It's something you can't change. But what you can work on is what you're doing now. So you measure it to see if what you're doing now is healthy. So are your mindsets, are you so worried about saying, forget my haters, and are you focused on your haters? Are you focused on who's against you, or are you focused on you? Are you focused on what you have to do, what you need to do to work on you in order to get to a place where you can allow things to be detached from you, that you're okay with that? So that you realize that it doesn't matter the title that someone holds in your life, parent, friend, anyone else that you just don't necessarily have to do. Like, it's okay. These people, because I came to the realization, again, through belief, through just literally working on self and pushing through. I am very resilient, and it's not by my own way. It's really by God just helping me. He instilled in me some strength that I just still don't even believe I have. Right. And realizing that, it doesn't matter, like I said, who it is, that you're able to, realize that they are people. So each person, no matter if it is your mother, no matter if it is your father, your grandmother, whomever that might be your guardian or raising you, that they are people with their own experiences, with their own hurts, traumas, their own experiences that more than likely since we're at this place, more than likely is not dealt with, right? I can't think of the word that I'm trying to find, but like they haven't sought after, any type of help and therapy. So now it's on you to do it. That's the thing. So therapy, I've always been an advocate for it. I'm very passionate about mental health. And again, that comes from my own experience. And so those are some of the things I write. I used to read a lot. I'm getting back to some things that I know I used to, because you're allowed to escape your own reality. So I was definitely that person that read, and Lord knows, don't let somebody die in the book and I'm just boo-hooing, like, just because I'm so into it, right? So reading something, I used to always say this when I encourage people to reading something that is empowering you, that speaks to you. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that, if you are dealing with, red, that you can only read books on the color red. No, It doesn't mean that. But if it is a different, it could be someone that is not the same background, color, believes in the same things you, but if you know that at least their intent, so that's why you read the back cover, you know, if you know that the intent of that book, of that piece is to encourage you, then that's something you read. I'm sorry, y'all. I got to tell you, I have always been against the Lord have mercy, the urban novels. Hate them. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was in high school girl, and I went to Western High School, only the best. And so girls, we I can't help it.
But okay.
I'm to start a war in the comments with all the birds.
We can't help it. We can't help it.
I hate to cut you off, but I have one
okay.
more, and then I will give my heartbeats a time
Okay.
to ask questions because I can't see the chat, so Joni doing that. So my next question is: once you change your mindset and you was back in environment with your mom, was the interaction different? Because you know what I mean?
Very good question.
You grown up, you took in an experience. Now you understand what mental health looks like and feels like. You know, what is that relationship now?
That's a great question, because I talk about the transition a lot, or now more so I'm learning to put that into words for myself and put a perspective on that. So where it is now is easier to talk about, but it's still, I can touch on other parts of your question. So where it is now is that it's at a place of where I am so at peace. I am so at peace that I have realized that she is still her. So truthfully, nothing, when it goes untouched, when it's unhealed, I think that's what I was looking for earlier. I still don't think that was it. But either way, when someone goes unhealed and they go without, you know, seeking some type of, you know, services to help better themselves. So that's what you do not want to do. Is that, you know, they don't change. They don't change for the better. We're all changing. That's the thing. So it's realizing that you know, change is happening. That's inevitable, but that they're not changing for the better. But once you seek the peace that where I am now is that it doesn't allow it to trigger me. Like there are things. So is it places where truthfully, y'all, sorry, does she piss me? Sis can still piss me off now. Okay. But it's not in the same place. Like it's not getting me to a place of like, oh my gosh, you know, the world is ending. Oh my gosh, I need to take my life. Oh my gosh, I wish something would take my life in order for me to feel of value to her. Oh my gosh, like I have also, it took for me, and that's what I was speaking to earlier, is that it took for me to do a lot of inside work because I had to be okay with, like, we hear certain things, but y'all have to get the real definition of things. So we hear be okay with, or the strength that comes from a person that has to forgive someone that's never apologize is surmountable, right? And that's so true. My mother, I know, will never come to me and say, Benia, I am so sorry for hating you all your life. She'll never say that.
Did she ever tell you she loved you?
Yes. See how difficult that is to say? So my thing is, because some things matter to another. So just like a word for me, I would never want to feel like I'm in disappointment to someone. So it was hard, like to finally kind of hear, and not really of I'm proud of you was always a thing. I want to hear that. I want to hear that. I gotta make you proud, because maybe that's it. You're not proud. I ain't do enough as a baby. Walking and talking, learn how to pee. Okay, that wasn't enough for you. All right, so let me, obtain this. No, that's not it. Okay, no, mama, hello. Right. And so I had to be okay with, well, it makes me feel good. It makes me happy. And not just because it's a temporary pleasure, but things that I was accomplishing was like, this is something that's setting me on. This is something because it was very clear to me at an early age that I am clearly the sacrificial lamb for my family, for both sides. I come from two ishy family.
So it was you that broke the generational curse.
It is me, absolutely. And I know that from me, because when I hear words and it's confirmation in me that, or it's instilled in me that, everything attached to me shall win, it's like good, because that's what I'm working for, the next generation, not just my daughter, not for, I know I'll get married one day and have future children, but not just them, great greats, like that's it. That's just what it has to be. That has to be your mindset, and that we have to refocus. And that's just, where
I wanted to break it down when
Definitely.
you said be a sacrifice. So when she said that, what she mean, Heartbeats, is that everything y'all going through now, and I always tell y'all, it's a purpose. It's a called alignment to your purpose, and we don't figure it out at the time as we going through it. So what she's saying basically is, right now, your trauma that you're dealing with is your sacrifice for your family. If you get through it, then stop and cut it at the head. So don't become a generational thing, and it don't go to your children and your grandkids. I just want to make sure, because we talk about that, and I just want to make sure I relate that. Just talk
Oh,
about
good. No, that was
I
good.
love
Thank
that.
you.
And Miss B, can you address maybe like some of the strategies too? Because Taylor just put in the comments, she put, that's exactly how I feel at this very moment, and I feel like crying because there's people that understand what I'm going through right now.
Yes.
Like, and I can attest that she's having that like right now. So anything that you can say in terms of like strategies for her to be able to get through it would be amazing.
Okay. Okay. First, so I'll address directly to Taylor, if that's okay.
Yes.
So Taylor, first of all, cry. Let that out. Let that out. Do not be better than me. For so long and way too long did I feel like society makes us feel, even to this day, that crying is a sign of weakness. It is one of the best ways to release. It is for you. It is your personal thing that your body is telling you. It's deeper than even just in your mind, that it's your body. Your body is saying, I need to let out. And the only thing that I can do right now is to produce these tears and to roll them out of my eyes. So it might blur my vision right now, but right now, all I'm worried about is releasing. So I'm not even really trying to see. But I know that once I have released and my vision will clear itself up, it'll be clearer than it was before. So first and foremost, cry. I am actually, and I'm even though I used to always I never wanted people to know this about me, but
She says she do that every day.
But and listen, it's okay, but I'm gonna tell you this. Here's the thing: you cry with faith. You have to cry with a purpose. You cannot be proud of I cry every day. I have to tell you that. Like, some things you just cannot, because I'll tell you that if you are going through anything and can relate to anything that I've, kind of talked about today, it is because you are being called for something.
Amen.
On you to figure out what that something is. You have to. So some things are like, I don't want to. I used to always feel like, why do I have to be the bigger person? Why do I have to turn away from things? Why do I have to be set apart? Why don't I fit in certain areas and certain arenas? Why not? Why can't I? Why do I have to deal with this? And I'm telling you, baby, I'm sorry. It's not easy. It does not feel good. Sometimes it don't look good. Y'all, I'm on here. I had to pull it together, baby. I just wear rough proudly these days, but it's okay, because you have to. But the thing is, you're not in it alone. Clearly, that I wouldn't even know, because I don't see any of the comments on my end. So I wouldn't even know that there's anybody else outside of me speaking with Miss Chanel and with Miss Joni, that there's somebody that can relate to this, right? So clearly there's something that you're going through that someone else can relate to. So you have to work on self. You have to work through it. You have to seek therapy. You have to seek counseling. You're not going to counseling or therapy for the therapist. They've gone through training and schooling in order to be able to help guide you through, but counseling is for you. It is for you to talk through your stuff. You have to talk to someone that you can talk to. So a Miss Chanel, a Miss Joni, you have to talk about your stuff. You have to not keep it all in. That is how I need you to be better than me. I kept all my stuff in, because remember I said earlier, I figured that nobody in this world can know what I'm going through. And there's a part of me that still feels that way, because technically that's true, because it's only me and my two brothers that are by my mother. But that's not the case, because clearly we relate on something, and that's okay. And I'm telling you, it's because you're called, and that there are souls attached to your name. Mm-hmm. You have to act accordingly. So that means that you are set apart. You're set above and not beneath. It's okay. But it does not mean that this is easy work. It's a simple answer, but it's not easy work. You have to work on self. So if it comes from writing, if it comes from you working with and connected to two people that it is clear, I mean, literally since the day that I met each of them on different days, but the exact day and moment that I met each of them, it was clear that a part of their purpose is to help people to realize what's in them. That is powerful, especially at a young age, for y'all to be connected to these two women. So it is on you that you have to do that. So if you don't know what your purpose is now, it's okay. But you have to have these conversations because it's important work that you're called to do. And you have to honestly bear down and bear through it, but you will get through it because that also has to happen. A better day always comes. We just want you to be around for the better day. We don't want to lose you in the dark day.
We definitely got to connect y'all.
Yeah.
Miss B, you and Taylor, because she put, every time I told my therapist, they called CPS and then her mom lied to make them leave, but then hurt her afterwards.
Taylor, yeah, I'm gonna make sure you get if it's okay
Please.
with Tony,
Please.
I'm gonna make sure we connect you guys so she can give you some support in that. Because one thing about Winter Wednesdays, it's about the soul and it's about connecting our families and bringing us together to be our best, to be our best person. And Taylor, if you going through that, I want you to know we feel that through this. We might not be with you in your space, but I know I just felt what Joni just read. And it's my responsibility now to making sure that me and Joni put you in the right space so you can have these conversations and get some guidance. And that's why I wanted my sister on here, Bania, because I knew that just wasn't my thing, Taylor. And I thank you so much for bringing it up. So we make sure I got you, Taylor, as soon as we get off.
Absolutely.
Any more, Joni, for us? That one, woo.
I know. Lewis is talking about crying. He said that I only cry when I can't do nothing about it. But if I can, it's just because I'm just letting it happen. And Naeem was saying how he get embarrassed when he cry and he just get angry.
And may I?
Oh, please.
And so, okay, so to those two statements, because they're similar but differ. And so the good thing, I forget who said this part, but the good thing about when you cry, and it's because of half of what you said is that it's because it's like you can't do anything else about it. And really, even when you're just letting it happen, it's again because your body is telling you, you know what, you have to work on your mindset. You have to do things that bring positive. Everybody's talking about good vibes only, positive vibes only. Do we really mean that? Are we actually putting forth the effort to make sure that our space is clear and open for that, right? To what we can control. So it's letting go of the things that we cannot. We did not choose our families. Trust me, I get that. But you can choose your friends. You can choose who you talk to, what you listen to, the music that you listen to, down to the shows and movies that you watch. But it is your body saying, hey, it's a reminder. Your body is talking to you to say, you can do nothing about this. But something I say often is that's okay. For right now, that's okay, because the only thing you can do about it is work on self and make sure you clear yourself out of it in order for you to be able to do something about it at some other point, or to be able to think clearer, to be able to, if it's a situation where someone else needs to be called into to help and assist, that you can't think that if you are allowing yourself to just only be full of anger and frustration, and not allowing yourself to cry and release. Crying is releasing so that way you can think clearly. It is your brain so overwhelmed to be like, I can't even think. My dad, of something that I was able to learn from him, is that he would say, you can't think when you're mad. It's a very true statement. I cannot think when I'm mad, or if I do, whatever I thought to do and whatever I thought was a good idea, it probably turned out to be a bad idea, right? And so even to the other that said that you're embarrassed, again, that's you working on yourself. Only you can look in the mirror every day and tell yourself that, hey, it's okay to cry. Only you can tell you that. You can hear me, but it's still only you that can look in the mirror. And honey, there's plenty of times I looked in the mirror and watched myself cry. because I had to tell myself that it was okay to cry.
Yeah.
I had to, because it's been, as much of a crybaby as I am, it's still plenty of times, no, no, not in here, not around people. So you learn to work on self and have yourself, your time to yourself. So find your quiet place, something that brings you some type of peace, whatever that is, hold on to it. And it has to be something positive. It ain't drugs. It ain't drinking. It ain't anything else you could think of. It's positive things that bring you the actual peace, not happiness, but you're looking for joy. You're looking for peace. That's what's going to help you through your situations, no matter at what age, because you, at whatever age you are not supposed to know what life feels like at 30, because you're not 30 yet. That's okay. So if people around you, even the people that you expect and want to, you have to let go of the shouldas. I used to struggle with the shouldas. My mommy should have loved me. Curtis was supposed to love me. Okay. Like if it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. But you have to work on you. That's it.
Tell them again, put them drugs down, Miss B.
Baby,
Because,
listen, y'all, we can talk about it. Miss B, I used to smoke, baby. I used to blow it down.
but listen, this is what I be saying.
Listen.
If part of your issues is because you can't be like on your own 2 feet, like you don't have any income coming in, and you blocking a job that could potentially allow you to get your own apartment, to get your own car, and be independent of this situation, you can't blame nobody at that point but yourself. And I'm just like, yo, that habit gets on my nerves, because we got so many young, talented, lot of potential young people. The door is slammed closed because of that one thing. You can't pass a drug test. Not that you can't do the job or you won't be great at, but you can't pass this drug test.
And not even that, Joni, the fact that you don't even take the time out to pass the drug test. Find a way to pass the drug test, but the fact that you're not researching to figure out how to pass, or if I know I need to stop smoking at this time or that,
right?
That's the issue I have.
Priorities. It's priorities. It is literally the right and wrong way to do everything. Even if you're doing the wrong thing, it's still a right and wrong way to do it. So I personally, I never, ever, first of all, I've been somebody to be able to pick it up and put it down, because I wanted to make sure that I could pick it up and put it down.
Absolutely.
For it ever to become an addiction.
Absolutely.
I made up my mind that I was putting it down. It was like, am I going through detox? I'm realizing I'm moody, I'm my weight, my this, my that. And so I was like, oh Lord, detox, actually, that's attached to my name. Oh, hell, oh Lord, like I can't do that, right? So it's just different, things. And when you check yourself to be like, yo, this ain't something I'm supposed to be doing. I can't even do this right. Because using to wake up in the morning. I understand the wake and bake, y'all. I completely get it. But that's the hype. It ain't doing nothing for you, because now I used to I'm smoking. It's because I didn't went to work, school. I was always in work and school. That's high school through college, through the 8 years ago. So that's 12 years that I, at the least, I'm working and schooling, all back to back. So busy, right? And then my family, don't take it the fact that they turned on me, that they didn't lean on me. I've been the matriarch of my family with a living mother, still alive. I'm the matriarch of my family. They come to me for everything, right? And so either way, so it's like it was me to be like, okay, I'm decompressing now. Like, whoo, this is my day. I done made through a lot of stuff. I done did some projects. I done did this. I felt like I had a checklist. And sometimes it'd be like, all right, no, I can't smoke now because I ain't even do nothing today. I wasn't even productive. The problem is that, and not even that I'm okay in smoking, but at least if it was the idea of like, you know what? I do it only because I done everything else I could possibly do today in a productive, in the mindset of being productive.
And not only that, and my priorities is okay.
Right. And that's it. That's it. That, but the issue is that we're making smoking and drinking and anything else a priority. And it's not. I hear y'all. I promise. I hear that you believe that it's helping you through your stuff.
It's really not. Because when you get down, it's your stuff still there.
Right. That, not only that, I hear that. Not only that, is it because, again, if you're going through these things, because I know if you're going through something, you can always look out the window and be like, how they life all easy? They're not called. And it's okay. Just like it has to be even.
Okay. You know how, man, you go for days. Man, you can go, we need to just have a TV show, but we only got to 7.
My bad. Okay.
Cussing me out, right? Because she be like, Chanel, I'd be like, all right, heartbeats. I don't want to get off. But I don't want Joan to get me. So
No, we good. We good. Yeah, but we definitely at our time. We need your jewel though. We
Yeah, we
definitely
need
need
a
a
jewel
jewel.
for the day. And I think we're going to invite you back because this is a wonderful conversation. And you're part of the family. So we want to make sure that you share your jewels with our young people as much as possible. But please share a jewel today for our young people. So something they could carry with them.
Okay. I'll be honest, since I am a cry, so we're going to change the idea of crying is a bad thing. So this is my jewel today. Go into your quiet before you go to bed tonight. And I hope it's at a decent hour. Don't think it's okay to be staying up till 3 a.m, child. But before you go to bed tonight, if you feel on your chest, in your spirit, on your heart that you need to cry, you need to release in some kind of way, provoke yourself to cry. Think of something, someone you lost, something that made you so sad that the last time you remember, or the last time that happened, that you know that it made you cry, think of that. Watch some sad stuff, listen to a sad song, provoke yourself to cry and release. As you at least finally get that first tear out, start thinking of other things, and then think of how you're trying to change. You gotta train your mind. So then you start thinking of how you want to better whatever that thing is that's making you cry. Cry tonight. Release and let go, so that way you wake up with a clear, fresh mind and vision in the morning.
Thank you. You were amazing, sis. Wish I knew
Yes,
you.
thank you, Miss B. We really appreciate it.
Love
Of
you.
course, I thank y'all so much.
And you can always refer to this on YouTube under HeartSmiles. You know what I mean? Just to come back and just look at how wonderful you did.
Yeah, so you can read some of your comments and stuff. Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
please.
stop it.
Yes, and welcome to the Winter Wednesday Soul. So we know our souls on Wednesdays. So this was wonderful. So thank you so much. And you know me and Joni love you. So
I love y'all too. Thank y'all for having me. I mean it.
love you,
Yes,
boo.
thank you. Thank you. Next Wednesday, Miss England.
Next Wednesday, y'all. Put it in the comments. I wrote some really good words down that's been hitting my soul while Miss B was talking. So let me know what y'all looking forward to. If not, you know I'm gonna go with generation curses. We gotta break them. So I'm gonna continue to be here to give you tools, because I always say, if Joni doing breaking curses, Benea breaking curses, and y'all breaking curses, man, we wouldn't be worrying about these killings and what's going on with this mental health, because we have put it down. So our next generation, not a wonderful world, but it'll be better. So my jewel for the day, love y'all, heartbeats, y'all my world. You know that. I will continue to educate myself to become in front of you guys to make sure I'm giving you the best experience and the best advice to be your best you. So I always say this from the bottom of my heart. Again, all of us that's on this call, all the adults, we apologize for anybody who did anything to you. This is a new day, especially adults. We here, we love you. Reach out to us. We got you. And see you next Wednesday. See y'all.
Yes, thank you, Miss England. Thank you, Miss B.
All right, Joni. Love you, sis.
Love you more. I see you later. Y'all, a great session with Miss B, y'all. Taylor, I got you. I'm about to send you over Miss B's information. And Naeem, I saw your comments. Listen, as long as you know that you're not crazy, it don't matter what people say. People will always want to say something. They're going to have something to say. People want to talk about you until you in the grave, baby. So as long as you are comfortable and confident with who you are, and you know that, then it don't even matter. And none of us are perfect in the way that we deal with situations. We all got to find, what works for us and what helps us to be able to get through. So thank you all so much for everything. Taylor, I just sent it to you, so you got it. Man, hey, Dante said, I thought a Brooke Bum said something. No, absolutely not. Definitely a great session. So listen, I appreciate y'all for showing up. Even though success sessions are not active right now, y'all better still be productive. Y'all better still be working on y'all businesses, whatever goals you got, and just overall, wherever you see yourself in life in terms of success, you got to be working on that every single day. Every single day. All right. So I told y'all I'm on vacation next week, we still won't be here. Miss Money Mo gonna hold down the situation. But yeah, that's what we gonna do for that. So I'll see y'all if y'all showing up tomorrow for Thriving Thursday. I'll see y'all tomorrow for Thriving Thursday. If not, Focus Friday. If not, next Wednesday. But all right, man. Listen, y'all already know what time it is. Y'all got a little bit more daylight out there. So do something productive, get you some work done, and I'll see y'all later.